Just as NGOs highlight Ukrainian refugees' exposure to human trafficking, public bodies and policymakers are acutely aware of such risks.
The biggest problem that we are facing now with the situation of refugees coming from the Ukraine, especially when they are still in the border areas of EU member states, is that the chaos is huge. The numbers of refugees are huge. There's a lack of assistance, a lack of information for the refugees. So the whole situation creates a huge risk of exploitation, of trafficking.
90% of over the 3.6 million refugees from Ukraine are women and children. Women and girls are on the move, are exposed definitely to heightened risk of trafficking, sexual exploitation and other harms.
The authorities are very much aware of the dangers, so everybody has their antennas quite high from the beginning. And also don't forget that we've seen it in other wars. So we have the experience of the conflict in Syria, the conflict in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Southeast Asia with the Rohingyas fleeing conflict. So we've seen it elsewhere happening, and we knew that war is fueling this type of crime.
I think for us, therefore, it's important now to take measures to prevent this from happening, because we already know from NGOs and local authorities that it is happening, that people disappear or that people are there, organizations or individuals with bad intentions, trying to seduce people to go with them, and then we lose sight of them.
These various organisations are actively monitoring the situation and gathering relevant data.
And while trafficking takes many forms, it always involves the purpose of exploitation. Victims are trafficked for exploitation and forced labor in different sectors, from agriculture to mines. They are also trafficked to serve as domestic servants for sexual exploitation or for armed conflict.
I think we need to invest a lot in prevention. So making sure that there are sufficient professionals there to not only register the refugees, but also identify their vulnerabilities, their needs, to provide them with the information on the rights that they have and the risks that are out there, but also to do a logistical effort. Right now, people have to find their own way. They have to see if they take a bus or a train and to which country they should go. I think member states should organize this in a professional way, making clear how many refugees can be transported to which countries, and that they organize this travel so that after identification, after give people the first safe place and assistance, that they are transported in a safe way to the place of destination.
In Europe, there are a lot of structures which are above the national authorities at for example, the European Union level, but also between the European Union and the other European countries that are affected by this crisis. And I think it's very much in need to make full use of this resource, because other regions do not have this benefit. So in Europe, there is this benefit of this cooperation at the police level, at the judicial level, this close cross-border communication. We should make full use of these tools.
I think in some places, in cities, depending on how well organized the cities are, things are going well. But what I hear from many organizations is that they are becoming tired, they are becoming exhausted, they have a lack of means, a lack of volunteers, and that they say, they should not be depending on volunteers only. So the state authorities are often too absent, and I think these gaps have to be filled by state authorities and with sufficient funding for the organizations providing the assistance.
And in this respect, I think that the adoption by the European Union of the 10-point action plan was a step in the right direction, and especially the element that relates to the coordination of the national coordinators of the European Union countries.
Yeah, well, we have the control over the budget, so we have tabled amendments to make sure that the funding will not be channeled through state structures so that we don't know where, if it will reach its destination, so that local authorities and NGOs are much more funded immediately. It's primarily the Commission and Member States now organizing the implementation of the directive, but we as a scrutining body, we are having meetings, we need to have the information so that we can really monitor what's going on the ground, cooperate with national parliaments because there the things are taking place.
And we need to work upstream, we want to work midstream, and we want to work downstream. That means we need to prevent the crime from happening. So all the information that is currently being, for example, shared with the Ukrainian refugees as they enter the European countries on the rights, on their the benefits that can have access to, all of these things are very much welcome. The efforts also to register people that are seeking to offer help to make sure that the refugees don't fall victims to abuse or any type of fraud or any other type of behavior are very much requested. The actual investigation of the potential crimes will be required if they come to the surface.
And that means that authorities should also step in, making sure there is an income for the refugees, that they're not financially depending on private people hosting them, that they are informed about their rights, about access to the labor market, so that they also can build in an independent way the future in the new society, and that we also know where the refugees are.
Consideration is also being given to scope for refugees to use existing skills or to retrain to enter relevant job markets.
Maybe since now we have the challenge of having a war at our borders and understanding the vulnerability of children and women, how they want to come to Europe, how they want to be able to have a new opportunity here, to get a job and to be accepted and welcomed and feeling safe. I believe this is something that could trigger more action from all of us, from the industry, from the legislators, and every stakeholder involved.
Women's voices must be at the heart of efforts for peace. We know that peace agreements that involve women in negotiations are more successful and enduring. They must be at the table when decisions are made for the future of their country. This is really essential.
Everyone can play a role in preventing or reporting abuses. Further links and information are provided in the description below.